And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
When you look at the games from Cool Mini or Not, they have big, grandiose games, from Arcadia Quest to Blood Rage to Rum and Bones to The Others. And so, when you see their small games, it's almost like, all right. And that's how I felt kind of when I saw the game Looterz. I was like, okay, let's do a change of pace here. And I looked at Looterz, and it had... basically, you have a bunch of people who are going into a dungeon to get treasure. Yes, a very original theme there. You're going to go in and roll dice, and it's a very, very light style card game. Let's see if it's any good. The goal of Looterz is to get the most loot. There are loot coins in the game, and you are trying to get a certain number of those first, and that number depends on the number of players. Each player is going to start with a handful of looter cards, and on a player's turn, the first thing they do is they have a recruitment phase where they can either play a looter in front of them, there's no cost, just play the card, or draw a card. Now each looter is going to have different stats on them. You can see here that this looter here has 2 health, so I'm going to put 2 health on them to show that they have 2 health, and they have a value of 3. They also have a special ability. You then can use each looter that you have in play. Now each looter can do one of 3 things. You can search for loot. So when you search for loot, you're going to take the number of hit points you currently have, so in this case they have 2. You're going to roll these dice, and you're going to be trying to get this number or less. So I roll, and I get 1 loot. Hooray! Or you can attack another looter. Let's say someone else has this Hydra in play. So you decide to attack the Hydra. Same thing, you roll 2 dice, trying to get 3s or less. And this Hydra, which has 2 hit points, now has 1. When the last hit point is removed somebody, they're gone. You also can activate a special ability. So for example, the Alchemist can destroy all looters in play, including herself. So she can just come in and kill everybody. This guy can attack twice. The Executioner here can reveal the top card of the draw pile, and you can either recruit it or get rid of it. This guy here, you can place 1 life token on any looter or 2 life tokens on any frog. The Scarecrow, which can attack but can loot, he can also steal loot from the person with the most loot. When you recruit him, that happens. And he has Taunt. Taunt is a special ability that when Taunt is on the board and you're attacking your opponent, you must attack someone with Taunt first. The Assassin can just kill one other looter. The Orc, when you recruit him, can force all players, including yourselves, to sacrifice a looter. You can't do it to him. The Goblin, when you recruit him, you draw a card or steal loot from the opponent with the most loot. The Warrior here has Taunt, so someone has to attack him first, and he has 3 hit points. Very terrible at, he rolls 3 dice that are 2s or less. The Frog, Last Wish. That means when the frog dies, that's what Last Wish means, you get to draw 2 cards, and you'll notice there was another card that affected frogs. The Beggar, you can swap the Beggar with any other looter in play. So I recruit the Beggar, and then I'll swap him with your Hydra. The Cleric here, you can place 1 life token. Oh, well, we already talked about the Cleric, sorry. The Zombie, when he dies, you get to draw a card. The Gelatinous Cube, where you can sacrifice any other looter you control and put their life tokens on the Gelatinous Cube, so your Gelatinous Cube can get bigger and bigger and bigger. And so there's going to be lots of different characters that are in this game. They're basically different tropes from fantasy. So you have a recruitment phase where you can place one of these guys in front of you, or draw a card from the pile. Then there's a looter activation where you activate each of your looters. Then you have another recruitment phase where you can put another guy in front of you or draw a card from the pile. And after that, at the end of your turn, if you have more than 3 of these people in front of you, 3 is the maximum, you have to get rid of one of them. And you also have a hand limit of 10, but I've never actually seen that come into play. And so each player is going to just take turn after turn after turn until someone gets the required number of coins. That person is the winner. Now the theme here is very generic. If there's one thing I get kind of annoyed about in games, it's this generic fantasy theme just keeps coming over and over and over again. I get it. There's a wizard, there's a cleric, there's this, there's a monk, blah, 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 blah. And you could say, well, this game's making fun of those, and that's true, but it still is a little like, come on, guys. Let's see something new. Go in and get treasure. Now, the components for the game are fine. The cards are nice. I like the little coins and the life points. They're the same ones used in their bigger games for many different things. And so they're easy and they're fun to pull around. And you know what? The game is fun. It really is. It's a kind of a take that style game, and it's a game that I think if it was 5 minutes longer, I would go, I don't know about this. It's only kind of doing the same thing over and over. But for the speed that it is, it's really entertaining. There's a card that when he shows up, boom, everyone's gone. There's the cards that you sit there like the Hydra. I'm going to attack everybody else. You can attack other people. Obviously, you're going to attack the people in the lead, and you're going to try to roll. There's tons of luck in the game. You might roll poorly much of the game. But again, the game isn't that long that it matters. And it plays very simply. Player, draw a card, activate your guys. Player, draw a card. So on your first couple turns, you're going to want to play a couple looters to get them out there so you can start activating them every turn. But you might want to draw a card so you have more room to play them in the future. But let's be honest, this isn't a game where you're going, what should I do next? Nah, you roll dice and see what happens. They did include a lot of different special abilities in the game, and there's a couple that when you're like, wow, that guy seems overpowered. But there's always that guy who's like, hey, you thought everyone was overpowered? I just killed everybody. And I don't know if I love those cards all the time, right? Because it's like a board reset and other people might be irritated. But I do like the different variety of cards that are in the game, and it keeps moving like this. Boom, boom, boom. And I played it with 3 and with 4, and I actually thought 3 was even better just because it was so peppy moving. And you're going to get a lot of laughs out of the game. Oh, you brought that guy out? I'm going to attack him. Why are you attacking me? Nope, he's dead. And it's fast, simple, and fun. And while I wouldn't want to play this all the time, it's a nice palate cleanser between bigger games. And despite the generic theme, I found it very entertaining. Dice Tower Judgment approved!
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door.